It's a combination.
Hmm.
So we have to bring the awareness with the ads, but then they're not going to just see an ad and fill out a form or call us one time, or calling us will work. But if they fill out a form, it has to be followed up on
Sure.
with the drip. So I think it's a combination
Gotcha.
that
Gotcha.
makes us to call. But yeah, thanks for checking out my stuff. But yeah, that's really
Yeah,
the holy grail of marketing is to have people
for
call
sure.
us.
And then not staying, not, and then not, staying in front of them. So that's a good
Right.
point. Staying in front of them.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because
because once you even do a quote, then you have to follow up too. And then the third piece is the producer too.
there you
So
go.
it's the ad, the the producer, and then the lead management. Those three things all have to work for.
Dan, you should trademark that, man. That's literally the holy grail of having a successful agency right there. Like that almost could be it. It's like this. Well, there's so much more to it, but like, um, you know,
Maybe the
the lead
sales
has,
side at least.
yeah, generate
Yeah,
the lead, don't go away, and then someone's got to close it. You
right.
know, that's it.
All right, Chris, the insurance guy. Thank you so much for being on my show here. Super excited to have you on here. Everyone should check out your YouTube channel too. I had the privilege to be on yours, so I'm glad that you're on mine now. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, Dan. Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. And yeah, stuff has definitely changed since the last time. So excited to be here. It's great to yeah, jump back on.
Yeah, for sure. Some of the things you mentioned, we were communicating via email, and you said some of the topics maybe we could go over that you like talking about is marketing, using video, hiring, coaching, ads. So that's going to be super helpful for our audience.
Yeah.
But before we get there,
Hmm.
share us a little bit about Adelphia,
Yeah,
Adelphia Insurance, and your agency.
for sure. Yeah. So Adelphia is independent. Sorry about that. We got calls rolling in. Adelphia is a personal and commercial insurance brokerage. We do also do life insurance. We don't do the health insurance, as a lot of other agents kind of don't. We're independent, so we don't have restrictions to one company. We're very flexible. We kind of specialize almost in the tricky risks. So we do a lot of the higher risk stuff. We can do fire zone, homeowners insurance, you name it on the commercial side. So yeah, I started the agency about 3.5 years ago. So I'm about 3.5 years in, straight out of college. I was a young kid. I was 21. Day one, just said, hey, like if there's ever a time that I'm gonna just kind of, am I allowed to cuss on here or no?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay, if I'm ever gonna like eat shit and like not make money, it's like I'd rather do when I'm 21, when I'm just like, I have no kids, I have no wife, nothing to worry about. So instead of doing it later, when I had more responsibilities, so I just said, I'm gonna, send it right now and just get it going. And yeah, 3.5 years later, we built it up. Still not nearly the size of you, Dan. That's the goal in the future. So everybody watching you is definitely have, they have um, you know, big shoes to kind of fill. And if you're trying to reach what Dan's hitting, so if you're out there listening and you're following Dan, it's honestly like because I've done it now for 3.5 years, Dan. Like I respect it. Like I can see it's not easy, and anybody who's like acting like it is kind of probably BSing you. So um, yeah, that's kind of where we're at now, and I'm excited. Hopefully, one of these days, you can come to my giant office, and I'll have you over, and I'll be like, "Thanks, man. Appreciate all the help."
Oh, wow. Yeah, thanks for saying that. But yeah, no, I have no doubts. You're on the right track.
Thanks.
First of all, getting started at such a young age, and not only that,
Mhm.
independency agency as it was.
Yeah,
How did you even, know how to do that, or how did you even think
yeah,
insurance? And you know,
mhm,
because
yeah,
that's the one advantage you have is such a head start because not
yeah,
everybody's an agency owner at 21.
right. The So it's funny. I worked for Farmers Insurance for about 4 years throughout college. So I got my feet wet, like working at like every summer at a farmers agency in Redondo Beach. So I worked under an agent there, and yeah, I just realized like quickly. I was like at that point I was 18 when I first started working there.
Wow.
So yeah, I got in young, and I realized hey, like this is a business where, it's a very people business, which I enjoyed. I like talking to people and like making relationships, and everybody needs insurance. So I was like, it just kind of is a win-win. So then I said I'm either going to start a farmer's agency or independent. I went the independent route. Um, Part of the reason why my YouTube channel is doing anything at all is because I put out a video about how to start an insurance agency, like independent agency, which is literally like zero information online on how to do. So I was like, all right, well, I just figured this out. It took me months to figure out. I was just calling people, researching online, like no information at all. Finally made a video, and then like after a year, it started to kind of take off a little bit, and then that's how I got any attention on YouTube. But
Yeah, I mean,
um,
tens of thousands of views, right?
it's like a 33,000 views or something like
Yeah.
that, which is, yeah, it's cool. I honestly, Dan, like no joke, never expected that to happen. So,
But you did figure it out by yourself, huh? So you just
yeah,
let people know how you did it,
pretty
by
much. Yep.
you didn't have like a mentor or anybody showing you how to do it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
A lot of
Wow.
people, it's funny. Like, I don't know if you get this too, but people ask like, do you have somebody who like, did your parent work in insurance or something like that? Did people ever ask you that, Dan, or no?
Yeah. Yeah. I used
Did
to.
your parents work in insurance
Oh,
or no?
no, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my parents didn't either.
Were they entrepreneurs?
No. My dad's
Okay.
like a aerospace engineer. My mom's just a, stay-at-home mom. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's remarkable. That you started at 21, 3 years in. And that's cool that you have like a little niche, huh? Like tricky risks because you're in the independent space. You could
Yeah.
find you know, situations that it might be a little harder for them to find. How'd you run into that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I stumbled into that as well because early on, the first like 6 months, I was like, dude, I can't make any sale. Like I was just having a really hard time getting clients and just figuring out how to generate leads and stuff. So one day I talked to some agent actually local here in like the my area around South Bay in Southern California. You're actually from here too, Dan, so I know
Yep.
you know just from watching. I ran into like this agent. I started asking him like, "How did you grow your agency?" And he basically told me like, "Chris, you need to go to every State Farm agency in our local area. Just literally walk in there, introduce yourself, and ask them for like the stuff that they can't write." So it was basically like me asking for like their like policies that they didn't even want.
The leftovers.
And it's funny, I remember, Dan, I reached out to you like a couple years ago and I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like I found you on Instagram." I was like, "I would love to write any policies you can't write." And at the time you're like, "Oh, we don't do referrals," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, it's all good." I
No,
was
really? I don't think that was
I think
me.
maybe not. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think yeah. But you also sent me business cards too. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kinda what I suggest to a lot of independent agents. I'm like, "Hey, send, like, State Farm agents or farmers agents that just don't want certain stuff, send them a gift card and just be like, 'Hey, here's my business card. If you ever need something you can't do, just send it my way.'" It's like free leads, you know?
Yeah. And
So
that led to just um business that
right.
worked.
The tricky stuff. So, like, that's the thing, I learned how to do a lot of, like, difficult, stuff because it's the messy business, not ideal. Like I still like the clean business, Dan. I'm telling you, because like it's much better and easier to write. So I'm not dying for this messy stuff at all.
Mhm.
But we'll do it,
Yeah,
So
when you're new, you gotta sell, right? Whatever you
right.
can. So that's awesome. And tell us a little bit about your employees and book size maybe, or anything
Yeah.
you can maybe share about your agency.
Yeah. So right now we're a team of five. One of them is just a including myself, 5 including myself.
Hmm.
So we're not like massive or anything, but one of them is just a part-time marketing assistant. She does all my YouTube and like kind of takes that off my plate a little bit.
Hmm.
So she's part-time. And then we just actually hired. So we're now one service rep and two producers. So basically 3 people on the team, and we just crossed a little over like 1.5 million in premium. So we're growing every single month, which is awesome. Um, and yeah, I'm just like, as you can tell, just like 1.5 isn't a massive book either for a team of like five, including yourself. So For anybody out there that's like those numbers just don't make sense, it's because I'm like heavily reinvesting into the agency. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, no, it just shows that you're ambitious and you want to grow,
Right.
because um yeah, I that totally makes sense that you have more staff and you have, people. That doesn't necessarily mean they're all doing, service. They're
Hmm.
trying to write business, right? So,
Right.
um, yeah, that's awesome that, you're staffing for the future rather than being understaffed right now.
Dan, real quick, I wanted to ask you, did you cross, are you like 10 million or what are you at? Something like that?
I'm at 13 million right now.
13?
Mhm.
Holy shit. That's awesome, man.
No,
Good for
yeah,
you.
no, thank you. But yeah,
Yeah.
14 years, so
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude,
that's, yeah, but
what year did you remember you crossed the 10 million? Do you remember or
um, just man, 2 years ago I was at 8 million.
okay. Oh, wow.
So yeah, somewhere in between there. So the last couple years have been bigger than um the trajectory I was on.
Do you buy books or do you just sell more?
We have grown it. Yeah, we haven't bought any
Mhm.
policies at all.
Mhm. Wow.
Is
Dude,
that
that's
is that a strategy for you moving forward, or what do you think?
I don't know, man. I hear other agents say like I one guy that's just down the street here from my office, killer. He's an independent agent, very similar to me. And I was like, hey man, what did you do? Because I'm always trying to pick brains, see what I can do to like kind of get my stuff rolling. And he's like, dude, you just got to start buying books.
Yeah,
And I'm like, well, I mean that takes money too, you know. So
yeah,
um,
but so does,
yeah,
marketing,
right, right.
so, and staffing. So either way, it takes money. But yeah, if I had more options to, because the
Hmm.
company that I'm with, does, farmers, it's a little
Right,
difficult to. But if I had the option to, I would love to,
right.
So I think, talking to some of the agents I like to talk to, sounds like
Hmm.
what they're doing is both. They're growing, they're buying leads, but they're also looking out for opportunities to buy too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely in the cards. If the opportunity arises, it's a good book for me. Like I would totally do it. I just hope I have the money for it. You know, that's the only thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, if you're doing the right things, having discipline and selling and,
yeah.
reinvesting, then I think, yeah,
Mm.
you never know, but I think I'll keep my eyes out for opportunities like that.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, one of the things you mentioned here is marketing. So besides the which I think is a great idea, even for farmers agents, like because
Mhm.
some other companies like State Farm, they have such tight underwriting guidelines
Mhm.
that reaching out to them, I did that, early on too.
Yeah.
At AAA, I used to work there, and when I left, I won't throw anybody under the bus, but they were sending me some leads,
Oh, really?
because it was a
Oh,
call
dang.
center,
Nice.
and our underwriting is a little bit looser than theirs. So depending
Mhm.
on, each situation, but understanding what they can't write and what you can and things like that. But that's a
Mhm.
great marketing strategy. What other marketing strategies have you evolved to, or what's working for you?
Yeah, yeah, and this is something I actually wanted to ask you about, like the ads, the Facebook ads. That's just one thing where we're weak at, so I'll say that. But the things that we are, that we have been doing well with is kind of like text campaigns. So we'll purchase leads, just lists, and then we'll drop them into different text, email, and like voicemail drop campaigns. So that's good stuff. I think I may have possibly learned that from you at some point, or heard that that was something working well with you. Um,
What systems are you using for that?
yeah, so one of my buddies, he like started a system or
Yeah,
honestly, it could be, I believe it's like a cookie cutter, like automated like platform that they can basically, I don't know if it's like relabel or something.
right.
It's called Chatterpie. So I'll give him a shout out, Chatterpie.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah. What about you, Dan? What do you use?
I use Infusionsoft, or they're called Keep now.
Oh, really? They changed their name. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Is that a good one, do you think? Or
yeah. Um, it's highly customizable,
mhm.
but it doesn't have any like insurance templates, so you have to kind of build everything out. So I
Yeah.
kind of have like a partner.
Mhm.
He specializes in that.
Gotcha.
So he has really saved me time by having, making it, for insurance, kind of like he knows the insurance
Mm.
business. His clients are insurance agents. so he'll know like what type of campaigns, and then I'll think of my own, even for customer service,
Mhm.
and then he'll make them out for me because it's kind of time consuming to like build them out, you
Dude,
know,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it saves you a lot of time at the it does save you a lot of time, even though it's time consuming in the long end. It
Oh,
saves you a lot of
yeah.
time because so many things are getting sent out automatically. But
For sure, for sure. There's no even like there's no comparing to it. Like spending an hour and a half or 2 hours to build it out,
hmm
that's gonna do 100, maybe even 1,000 times of what you would do on your own.
oh
It's
yeah,
without a doubt hands down worth it. So,
yeah. Another way I
yeah,
look at it also is that it's like you have a cost for employee, right?
right.
And then they do a lot of activity, but the
Mhm,
cost of the automated system, which is starting to get up there for me, but it's still like not even like a cost of
mhm.
an employee. But
Right,
what it could do is like 10 employees
right.
amount of action, and it's like more dependable and more consistent too.
Yeah, right. Dude, they don't get tired, like
No.
they're not
And,
hungry. The robots are not hungry and
uh,
they're not tired. I mean,
this
it sounds
stick
messed up, but it's
stick to the
true.
script.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. But so that kind of stuff has been working for you?
Yeah, that's worked well. Just organic posting too. We're just highly like we're very, very consistent. I mean, on certain platforms, we're consistent. There's some that like start to lag a little bit.
Mm,
Um, I just think like brand awareness is key.
mm,
Uh, I mean, at the end of the day, like really what that is, like also with running ads, like it's the same concept, but one's free and one costs money, and one reaches more people, like ads reach a ton more people, and one is doesn't. So like you can do the free one and spend a bunch of energy time. I'm almost like selling myself on ads right now, but like the ads are I think the way to go, as long as you know what you're doing. Because I like for me, we do the organic very well and we do that constantly and consistently, but the ads is like cost money. I don't want to burn money, so I'm just not
mhm.
gonna, at some point I have to make that leap to go hard on like the ads. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you getting experience in the organic, that's what helps you know what to post for the ads. S-
Right.
So being consistent with organic is
Mhm.
really the gateway into knowing what to really use for the ads. But
Agreed.
what are some advice for agents that may be not using social media as much for marketing?
Yeah, I would say, if you're not using it, you probably should be, because it's a free tool and it reaches a lot more people. It's kind of what we were just saying with like the employee and like the automation. It's like you're reaching, or you're doing it, like activity levels just increase significantly. A video can live forever online and somebody could see it over and over and over. And um, the human brain starts to process those interactions as if they met you in person. Like I've watched so much of your content, Dan, that I almost feel like I know you. You know what I mean? Like we've like hung out like a bunch of times,
I know, right?
and it's
Yeah.
only been like a
Yes.
couple times. So it's the same thing. Like people see you at scale, and this business is all about relationship building and brand and like face to face, and you're just doing that at scale. So um, that's why I believe consistently marketing and posting is the way to go. If you're not doing it, you should. Uh, I don't know what else to say about that, just other than like you probably should be.
No, yeah,
What
no,
about you? Yeah, what would you say, Dan?
that's a great answer. I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I would just add to that, and like, yeah, if you make one good video, because some days, we're not
Mhm.
feeling our best, or maybe we don't even look the best,
Right.
but if you have
Right.
one video that you look the best, you sound the best, you have so much
Yeah.
energy, then you could literally be that person every day,
Right.
to
That's a
run
good
the
point.
ad. Um,
True.
so,
Interesting.
so video, yeah, messaging, and like you mentioned, it's just about awareness. Like no one could buy from us if they don't know us.
Mhm.
So using video technology, I think is the best way for people to feel like they know you. Because in sales,
Mhm.
one of the things that we have to overcome is like, you know, who are you?
Right.
That always is like a lot of buyers, concern. So
Mhm.
if they see a video of you and they feel like they know you, then that objection or that hurdle, you kind of bypass by letting people know that
Totally.
they like you,
Yeah. Yeah.
or they know
For
you. So
sure. It's
for
almost like the reverse of like cold calling and stuff. So like I think I heard you say that one time, where that kind of stuck with me, where you said like you're doing these automated campaigns or the branding, it's like we want to get the phones to be ringing. And I think that's where a lot of people might have it backwards. Like they're out, they're making all these million calls, instead of focusing on how to get their phones to ring, especially for your people. When you have a team, like you need to give those opportunities to your team. So, yeah, that's why I really would like to pick your brain maybe later. But on the ad stuff, like that's really where I need probably to get the phones ringing. We got that with the drip campaigns, but do you think that's what's making your stuff ring the most, Dan? Or what makes your kind of like your phones ringing them? What would you say, like, if you had to say number one thing, phones ringing?
It's the combination.
Hmm.
So we have to bring the awareness with the ads, but then they're not going to just see an ad and fill out a form or call us one time, or calling us will work. But if they fill out a form, it has to be followed up on
Sure.
with the drip. So I think it's a combination
Gotcha.
that
Gotcha.
makes us to call. But yeah, thanks for checking out my stuff. But yeah, that's really
Yeah,
the holy grail of marketing is to have people
for
call
sure.
us.
And then not staying, not, and then not, staying in front of them. So that's a good
Right.
point. Staying in front of them.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
because
because
once you even do a quote, then you have to follow up too. And then the third piece is the producer too.
there you
So
go.
so it's the ad, the the producer, and then the lead management. Those three things all have to work for
Dan, you should
successful.
trademark that, man. That's literally the holy grail of having a successful agency right there. Like that almost could be it. It's like this. Well, there's so much more to it, but like, you know,
Maybe the
the lead
sales side
has,
at least.
yeah, generate
Yeah.
the lead, don't go away, and then someone's got to close it. You
Right.
know, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to it, but
Yeah. No, you're right. Thank you for saying that. But yeah, because if one of those three isn't working, then it's not going to be successful.
yeah,
You know.
definitely. No, that's a great point. That's a great point. It's even reinforces it for me. So it's good to talk it out. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. No, you're definitely on the right track of Yeah. Of a question I want to ask you, Chris,
Yeah.
is you know how your YouTube channel is
Hmm.
really helpful for insurance agents.
Yep.
So I really recommend insurance agents checking it out. About how you do your meetings and like a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff on there. Um, has that led to business for sales wise?
You know, not a ton, not a ton, really. Uh, it's more for like what I've come to realize is it's more kind of what I was just saying, like the awareness and like the
Hmm.
branding. There has been like partnerships or even relationships that I've made with other agents that I've mentored a little bit here and there and like helped out that have led to referrals, like, from other states and stuff like that. But to be honest, like, is it generating, like, a lead every day or a couple leads every day? Not really, because 'cause we're really talking to other agents.
Right.
So, it's more, yeah, at the end of the day. How about you, Dan? Do you get stuff from it, like, actual, like, business from it, or
No, yeah, having agents send me stuff from different
yeah.
states that has happened, but I think what I try to do is, you know, find agents that could be clients of mine.
Mm,
So consultation sessions and stuff like that. So it has helped with
right.
business, and it has helped some agents from out of state has purchased leads from me too.
Oh, gotcha.
So creating content has definitely helped the business, but it's in
Yeah.
a different way because it's not necessarily like um my book of business is growing because of it,
Mhm.
but more the coaching and lead side. But one thing
Right.
it has helped me, and maybe you could relate to this too, is that
Mm,
when I prepare for these, how to grow your insurance stuff, then it actually re-emphasizes what I should be doing.
100%.
Do you
100%. Yeah,
right?
totally, like, it's like they say, like, when you teach something, you learn it better yourself. So, yeah, 100%. And I didn't realize that's what you're talking about, Dan. Like, we've helped out, like, consulting calls, people have paid me for those and, like, I made a little ebook and stuff, like, they bought
Oh
that,
yeah,
but yeah, stuff like that, but nothing like nothing crazy, but, yeah, for sure, when you start to go and give lessons on, like, processes, I'm like, "Wait, okay, that is our process now that, like, maybe I should make my whole team very, very aware of this process," or, like, yeah, just laying out your day, because what I do is I kinda go through all my activities that I do as the agency owner and try to break them down and then give, you know, value for that, so, for sure, it's helped me a lot, so, yeah, it's cool, man. It's good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's in a weird way, you're trying to help others, but you end up helping yourself
Yeah,
sometimes the most. But I do believe that creating content when I first started it, I didn't really know which direction it would go.
Mhm.
but it's been really awesome, making the connections with other
Yeah.
agents and just feeling like you're giving back too. So
And
um,
also, Dan, I wanted to say too, um, just to kind of piggyback off this whole thing with like creating the content, like I can name just like a handful of other agents out there that are like creating content at scale, like the way maybe me or you or a couple other guys. I can literally think of them at the top of my head. So it's not that many people doing it. And it's like it's makes people just more aware of like your personal brand too. So you've done a great job at it. So yeah, man, good stuff.
oh yeah, no, you too. I mean, I'm just trying to catch up to you when it comes to the YouTube.
Uh, oh man, dude. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we're all it's good stuff. I feel like it's healthy just kind of seeing it's not like um there's no one. I mean, there's a couple people that are like kind of up there in like the attention game or whatever it is on YouTube. You want to call us like insurance influencers or something like that. I don't know, but there are people that are up there, and like I feel like we're on the come up. We're on the come up, so it's good stuff.
yeah. No, I think it's an industry that's not going away. And it needs more resources online.
For sure.
So and what's a better way to share a message than again having a video because that way we don't have to repeat it over and over again.
Like, look at real estate, dude. They have like all the $1 million listing and like they have all this different content. Real estate agents are posting a ton of stuff. Insurance is like dead, man. So
Yeah, I think my theory on that is because real estate agents they need the next sale,
right.
and I think insurance agents sometimes the successful ones especially we're living off the residual income,
Right.
so the hunger is not there because if the hunger was there we had to adapt to the new world. I don't know, I'm not saying that we're lazy, but
No, no, no. It's honestly, you're probably onto something there. That's a good point. Cause that's funny. I said the exact same thing to my buddy yesterday. I was walking with him to get some food. And some of my buddies are in like commercial real estate, and I just told him, I was like, yeah, man, like it's great, you're working hard, you're making all this money, you get huge commissions and stuff, but dude, when you're 55 and you're still having to like make a bunch of calls and showing up and doing a bunch of stuff at 55 and you're still working as hard as you were when you were 25, like that doesn't sound that cool to me. I think building a book and like playing, I don't know, go hit some golf balls or something. I don't know, but nah, I mean, I'm just kidding. You still want to, yeah, still keep growing. I don't see myself stopping, but yeah, I just feel like it's a different game, 100% different game.
yeah,
So
it's more
you
of
might be onto
a
something
yeah, we have to kind of like pay our dues early, but the gratification maybe comes later on for our business. So
for
I
sure.
yeah, I really enjoy what we're doing. Um, share us anything what you have learned when it comes to like hiring and staffing
Yeah,
these last 3 years.
yeah.
Because
I'm
man,
still,
again, that's
yeah,
the one thing about you, Chris, that I gotta acknowledge you for is that at your age, I mean, are you hiring people older than you, or
yeah,
you had to be kind of right, or
yeah,
what's your game? What's you know to have
yeah.
these experiences at such a young age?
No, for sure, for sure. That has been a little bit weird, honestly. Uh, yeah, I'm 25. I'm turning 26 in May. So I'm like, yeah, 25. Um, and two of my team members are younger than me. Two are older than me.
Okay,
So, um, so yeah, not that much older, but
okay,
definitely they got a few years on me. But yeah, it's been a tricky process, as you know, Dan. It's not like you just post a thing on LinkedIn like, "Hey, I'm hiring," and you get the best candidates showing up at your door looking for a job, and it's tricky, like especially nowadays, like finding good people is kind of crazy. I mean, I've only been in business for 3.5 years. I did feel like earlier on it might have been a little bit easier, even though I wasn't even hiring. And
mhm,
I feel like I'm getting hit right at the time where things are kind of tricky, which is probably good for me, a little adversity. But yeah, I've probably gone through maybe a total like for five right now, including myself, but um, maybe like six people that have come in and out of here that just weren't fits.
oh, okay,
Uh, yeah. So I've kind of dialed down my hiring process a little bit more efficiently. I'm sure you have a very good sound process, and I think that's the key. Like having, step one. This is what bringing somebody in looks like. Interviewing them. Follow up. You know, narrowing down candidates, et cetera, or whatever. different processes are. Like I narrow it down to even like how fast do they respond to the first email I send them?
Oh,
Will they
wow.
be, will they be a minute or two late? Because I've gotten some mentorship on that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I have a buddy who he runs another, a state farm agency, and he's kind of cutthroat. Like if people are 1 minute, 2 minutes late to the interview, he just doesn't even do it. I don't know about
Wow.
you. How are you on that, Dan? Are you pretty like lenient on that, or do you just kind of like no show, no like no
Ye
deal?
yeah, at this point, at this
Yeah,
point, if they come in late, it's still like, "Okay, I got somebody in." No, I'm just
we
kidding.
got someone.
Yeah, I got you have a
Oh
do
man.
you have a pulse? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my
No,
god.
I think, yeah, being late to an interview is a red flag. I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of a red flag, unless they have like a pretty valid excuse or they let you know earlier that they're running late. But
yeah, yeah,
I'm pretty selective in even getting there. Like if it gets that far,
yeah.
then they're usually on the right track. I don't like to set interviews because and then find out 5 minutes in like, oh, this isn't gonna work. So
Right.
I don't like to get to that stage unless it's pretty much like we're just finalizing things almost by the time they
Yeah.
come in here. Um,
Do they have like an assessment or anything? Do you have them do that kind of stuff at all
yeah,
or?
I do.
Okay.
I deal trace, and I use Keep again to do a lot of the automated stuff. Like so I'm not the one
Mm.
emailing them like, hey, like fill this out or hey, like um,
Wow, so you're kind of doing it at
some on the
scale
floor.
almost.
Yeah, but I'm not hiring that much. But I have the system built up, and then
Mhm.
whenever I need to, then I just ramp it up as far as. And then the ads are through Facebook too, so Facebook ads and then Keep.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the same thing as getting a lead or getting a sale. It's like getting an employee.
Wow, that's insane. That's genius. Dan, what would you do like or what are you gonna do too? Because like Facebook's changing to like Meta and like metaverse and all that stuff. What if
Mhm.
it like changes the dynamic of like Facebook? What would you do? Like if do you feel like a lot of it's Facebook based or
Um. Yeah. Yeah. Our business is pretty heavily dependent, not dependent, but is using Facebook. But I think some of the skills that we've learned is still going to apply for whatever platforms out there.
gotcha.
So how to market, what type of content converts,
Hmm.
where the attention is. So, if something happens to Facebook and 10 years later, it's like TikTok, or
Right,
whatever is hot at that moment, then a lot of the same principles I think will apply.
for sure.
So I think what we're learning will be able to keep with us, even if something changes with the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely I think you can quickly I think the best of the best definitely can adapt and they will adapt quickly. Do you use TikTok, Dan, or no?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be dancing on there.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I mean, I've been now kind of pushing it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll make like a YouTube video, and then I'll almost like summarize it into a minute and just make a TikTok of it.
Oh,
And
right.
then, yeah, so that's kind of what's been like we recently started to do fairly well on it.
Oh, really?
Like not even, but yeah,
Yeah, I actually do that for Instagram Reels anyways. So I might as well
right.
put that on TikTok, huh?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh
I
yeah?
would, you might as well, it's just like one more post. You could
Yeah.
just throw it on there and
Sa-
just let it run, you
It's the
know?
same content.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically, that's what I just actually learned this too, that Instagram Reels are doing, like they're getting to reaching more people because they're really just trying to compete with TikTok. That's
right.
really what they're doing because they're trying to steal the attention back from TikTok.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what they're doing. But you might
And
as well post on both.
they kind of have the same future. It's basically like the same features, right? Yeah, I
Pretty
haven't.
much. Honestly, dude, I'm not like well versed in that enough. Like I really should be more paying more attention to that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, same here. That's what I hear.
yeah.
There's a lot of tension on TikTok. So
Hmm.
something that at the agency level too. What about the agency level? Do you make
Hmm.
videos for the agency or it's mostly you and then about how to build an agency type of content, huh?
You mean like internal like agency process stuff,
No,
or
like you know, Adelfia story and stuff like that. Those type of videos.
I kind of let it come out with like just my content
Right.
that I put out. Like I'll just throw in like a random story in
Mm-hmm.
there. It's just try to keep it like entertaining. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't really talk about Adelphia as much as like I probably should. I should throw in some story time, you know? But
Yeah.
how about you, Dan? Do you talk about like the agency and stuff or
I kind of have a separate, Instagram for the agency.
Oh, nice.
so
Oh,
I'm not,
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
yeah, so I'm not really, I have my personal Instagram or personal YouTube. That's for
Mhm.
like agency owners more. So that's like the
Gotcha.
audience, and then I have the agency one that's more for like trying to like you know generate leads and
Yeah,
for sales.
that makes sense. Honestly, great idea too. Um, I think like splitting those 2 up is important, like your personal and the agency brand. Big, I think a lot of people make that mistake or they just don't even know where to start. So for anybody listening, you should probably split those 2, like always have your agency and your personal brand. Um, yeah,
Yeah, especially when you start having staff, I think
for
you
sure.
know because we kind of weird to post our staff on our personal one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I like to kind of keep that one separate, and it's different audience maybe too. you know but I think when you're new, either way, if you just have one only,
Mhm.
you just have to have one and
Yeah.
be active
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, I guess. Either way, I
Yeah,
don't know, you can really like, I think the personal I think I did split that up quickly in the when I first started out of the gate,
yeah,
but realistically, like, the agency one is not generating as much as probably my personal one, you
right.
know? I don't know, is that the same with you? Or
Yeah, I think that's what I hear from a lot of people too. Well, my agency one, because we're running ads on it, it's a different kind of story.
right, right, right,
But um I think you know people like to buy from people they know. So
right.
your personal one naturally just has your friends from the beginning.
Mhm,
Your friends will join, and I think they'll know you, and then they'll buy insurance from you a lot.
mhm.
And then it's kind of harder to get people to like follow a business page, especially an insurance one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely
So
not
that's why
easy.
I kind of like the doing it, especially on for newer agency owners who want to
Yeah,
generate leads for themselves. I almost like say like, hey, just post about insurance stuff on your personal one, and then
mhm.
let people know you do insurance, and naturally that'll get you, um, well, at least bring awareness.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to go, for sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, yeah. Back to some lessons you've learned as far as like the hiring process, or or what
Yeah.
to look for, or like what has worked, or what recruiting sources has worked.
Yeah, mine's definitely not, like, as traditional, I would say, like, I haven't used Indeed, I haven't used, like, anything like I post on all social medias, like, we're hiring, looking for essentially just referrals from our circle, our network to
Mhm.
see if there's like, hey, my son is looking for a job or like whatever. My cousin, I heard my sister or something, that kind of thing, like referrals. You know what's interesting though, Dan? I got two of my team members are from Nextdoor. I don't know if you ever use Nextdoor, the app.
Uh-uh.
Um, Nextdoor is like a community app. You should
Uh-huh.
definitely check that out. You should at least get the agency listed there as a business. It's just like you have to verify that you are living in a certain neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
and you can communicate like with your neighborhood essentially. And it's
Okay.
a lot of like moms, like to be like frank, it's more like like the Karens of the world. Like they're the ones that are like really running that stuff because they're like
Okay.
some like guy is a trick or treater, like he's handing out like he's handing out like just like peppermints like or something like they'll just complain about random stuff for like
Wasn't wearing a mask.
yeah, exactly. He wasn't wearing a mask. Like what it's like ridiculous. But yeah, it's funny because like that's where like local it's a very localized like app.
Yeah,
And
looking out for the
it's actually
community.
no, it's good. Like the other day, I was with my mom and she said like she's like, "Holy shit, like somebody's breaking it." Like the neighbor, like one of the neighbor like got broken into. And like we live in like Torrance. It's not like a sketchy neighborhood or anything. So it's kind of scary. Like world's kind of crazy right now. So it's a good app. That's where I posted on there like, "Hey, we're hiring." Sorry, I totally deviate.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of I got some referrals from just people like we're an agency here in Torrance and anybody who's local around here looking for a job. And that's kind of how it started. And we got some people interested that way. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, the other
Thanks for
one,
sharing that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it's so hard to find people these days.
right. Yeah,
So any tip or any resource that we could add, um,
totally. That's a good one.
us
Yeah,
out.
for sure.
And those two have worked out good for you?
100%. Yeah, they're
Oh,
great. Like my team. Like I'm just super grateful right now. Like they're all amazing. So I've gotten lucky there, I think. Uh yeah. So it's been good.
What about as a leader? Because sometimes you think it's luck too, but sometimes they're maybe responding because you've developed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's definitely a big part of it too. And I'm sure you can relate to this. Like there's definitely a certain level of like skill that comes with being a leader. And like some people maybe just aren't fit for it. Like there's days where I'm not feeling like I'm like stoked 100% to come in or anything, and I'm like feeling kind of like passive aggressive or something. And you learn to like you don't let that rub off on like your team and your people because stuff like that, man. Like you gotta learn to be a great manager and leader and like read the books, do the things. So for sure, that's part of it too. Um,
Yeah,
with a
I
little luck.
think I posted a long time ago, but I put like that it's a skill to be like super stressed out because we will be, you know, as agents, business owners,
Yeah,
but still be in a good mood in front of them.
dude. Yeah, hundred
That's,
percent.
that's such a
Yeah.
important skill because if you're stressed out, it rubs off on them, you know. So
Do
it's
you,
like you have to play poker almost.
Dan, do you feel like that's kind of like built up for you as the years have gone on? Like, is it getting like more and more stressful, or is it all like relevant, basically? I'm like interested to know, like, because I'm only 3.5 years, but like at 10 years, sorry, man, this thing keeps ringing. At like 10 years, what does that look like? Like, does the stress like kind of crazier? Is it, do you feel like it's like you've developed enough to get to that point where you feel like you're good, or?
Yeah, it definitely goes down, you know, but I think in the beginning it shouldn't have been so high for me. You
Mhm,
know, I think I, I uh, I was I was less patient, you know, so I wanted to achieve certain like levels too
mhm,
early, and that it was like just stress that I just put on myself. Like I didn't have to stress myself out. Like what was the point of that? You know, it's just it would have been more enjoyable if I was less stressed out. And I think I would have reached higher levels faster if I was less stressed out because I would have been in a better mood, and being in a better mood generally is better for leadership, sales, customer service, everything really. So like it was unnecessary stress I was causing myself. But once I started, I'm not sure if it's because I realized that or because
mhm,
I, you know, have better business results that I have less stress now. But and
mhm,
because our skills are increasing too.
mhm,
So we're getting better at what we do the longer we're doing it. So confidence starts coming in, and you have definitely less stress. But I would say maybe it shouldn't be so much to begin with.
for sure. Yeah, like that's cool to know because like I said, I have a couple other people, friends that are in agencies, and like they're above me, like their premiums are 5, 10, whatever million, and they're stressed out. And I'm like, dude, I would like kill to be in your shoes right now. So it's good to know like that the stress level does kind of come down. Um,
Yeah, I think it's
so
just, perspective, I think I
right,
could easily be stressed out right now too. But it's kind of like a
yeah,
choice,
for sure.
and I think if sometimes I was always saying like, hey, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. But once I started saying that too much, I was like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't say that too much because it
Hmm.
is hard, but in comparison to what? Like we sit
Right.
here, we just we just think of things and then we talk and then we help people and then we get paid. So if sometimes this is just really recently, Chris. Uh,
Wow.
I was always like, this is hard, but I'm gonna grind through it. That's kind of been my mentality. But just real
Hmm.
recently, I've been like, "Hey, actually, is it really that hard?
Yeah.
And then I started looking at it like it's easy, and then I was like, compared to like other jobs out there or other countries or like other like
Dude, yeah.
situations that we could have been born into. Like this is actually like pretty awesome and it's pretty easy. So I started thinking it that way. I'll let you know how that works.
Yeah.
Uh, but um,
I mean,
yeah,
it sounds good, man. Like it's just a good mindset. Like that's just how else like would you rather keep telling yourself like it's hard, and I mean, let's not also like deny it. There's definitely, especially being in this seat, it's not necessarily always like the easiest making decisions, like firing, like that's not cool. Like I hate that, dude. I had to do that a couple times, and like June for the first time, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is no wonder people say they hate this." Like, it was terrible. I'd never had to fire anybody in my life or anything like that. That's not cool. Um,
How did it turn out, the business results afterwards?
yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 100%. I mean, yeah, like you gotta you. I feel like your gut can tell you, and then yeah, for sure. It's interesting how like that eliminating you know, person can and replacing them with maybe somebody that is much better fit for the role. And as painful as that is, it can change even the vibe of like the agency. It can change so much. Your mind, your mood. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. That is a difficult part of the job, but sometimes it is usually something that really ends up, you know, something you have to do. And if you look out for um, the best of your agency, which
Hmm.
is your obligation to do so, to look out
Right.
for your business and for your current employees, usually, yeah, doing it.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of my weakness probably is that I take way too long to do that. So I get it. Um,
Yeah,
but
definitely. But yeah, man, that's it's not like it's a good mindset that you have, Dan. I like it. Like I'll definitely try to take that after this meeting and like think about that too, because um, yeah, it's if you go in every day thinking like, man, this is we're grateful we're like that we're even able to, we're not slaving away, doing something in I don't know what country and like getting paid $5 a week or some crazy stuff like that, man. Like, um, and we're making thousands of dollars just to make calls and help, like you said, help people. It's definitely like everybody should in our business should really shift their mindset that way. I think so. That's good stuff.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks for saying that. Did you find yourself thinking that overwhelmed or difficult at times, or
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's easy to get overwhelmed, you know, especially, like, in the early stages trying to grow and stuff, like, I feel like there's a little more pressure right now than, like, maybe once I'm, like, bigger and stuff, but it's like you said, it's perspective, like, you could be stressing yourself out. I should like, I'm honestly gonna internalize that, like, I do see myself getting, like, stressed out at times, but I think I do a pretty good job of that with, like, kinda my work-life balance. Like, when I check out, I really just check out, and, like, I do the things I gotta do. Like, I see you working out, I'm working out all the time too. Like, I'll go for runs, whatever I gotta do to kinda keep me sharp between the ears, and, um, yeah. So, comes in waves,
yeah,
but, um, yeah, for the most part, I feel like I'm not, like, tripping out.
yeah, it
I
shouldn't
feel
be,
alright.
because I mean, again, you're just I will kind of assume, well, not that you want to compare with
Mhm,
your peers, but to be a business owner
mhm.
with staff, the responsibilities you have, and to grow something that because a lot of agencies, you know, don't succeed.
Yeah,
So yeah, you want to give yourself credit, when it's deserved, because
yeah.
um, you're way ahead of me, you know,
Oh,
from
thank
what
you, man. Not
for,
really,
for
but
yeah, from at your age. So yeah, I think sometimes it's good to, like, look back and, like, give yourself credit for, like, oh, I overcame that, I overcame that, and next
yeah,
time you have another situation, you're like, oh, it's another one of those, like, I've done this before. So I think that's maybe where experience will help. And then so everything is kind of harder the first time through it.
yeah.
But I would say, yeah, definitely things get easier as we go.
Dan, do you feel like there was like a day or like a year even that you kind of saw like the whole thing kind of just like really take off versus kind of like just starting to take off? Because I'm sure that there was like, the early growth stages you weren't doing as big of numbers as you were now, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it was pretty gradual, but
Hmm.
probably around that a couple years ago, if I look back at it, I never really looked back too much. But now that you mention it, like, I remember uh, going to Texas, and then I was gonna talk to some agents, and then my book of business was at 8 million, and there was people in the audience that had bigger agencies than me, and I was like, well, like, this is kind of awkward, but
Yeah.
and then looking how far how back that was, and now uh where I, just as far as book size, I was like, oh, the last couple of years, I guess, were pretty a lot, faster growth than the trajectory I was on.
Did you do anything
Uh,
different though, or like was it just kind of consistent pace and it just kind of compounded?
I think it just, I think my producers, really developed during these 2 years.
Gotcha.
They became more motivated, and it takes time to get skills, to be able to sell insurance,
For
to know
sure.
the
For sure.
products. So they've kind of maturing. And then also, I would say, you know, um, the ad spend,
You
you
ramped
know,
it up.
I ramped it up. Yeah. So I think that really correlates really throughout my career, how much I spend on ads and how
Mhm.
much I sell. That's been very,
Yeah.
that's been something. And then for some reason I had a situation where I was like, well, I can't spend more than this much amount. Like I just had like a
Yeah.
ceiling there, you
Mhm.
know. But then
I
once I
remember you
kind of
told me that. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of went over that because um I think the better way of looking at it is more like
Mhm.
percentage of your income should be spent on marketing, not just like a flat amount. So if you're getting residuals and your, income, the revenue of the agency is going up, then so should your marketing expense.
That makes perfect sense. And it's at the same time, like as it just makes sense because as that grows, then your marketing spend goes. And yeah, man, that's the way to. I think that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, because you are going to lose some policies too, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
as your agency grows bigger and you want to grow it, you're going to have to force to spend more money on marketing. But it's a great investment. But
Totally.
yeah, speaking of books, you mentioned it a little bit. What are some books that have helped you with your journey
Yeah.
so far?
So it's funny. We read a book, and I always say this at the end of my YouTube videos. Like I always say, like see you, like we'll see you at the top.
Hmm.
It's a book called "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, Dan, if you haven't read that book, it's a fantastic book. It really helps. It's almost breaks down the difference. It's like a stairway to success, and it's like your attitude, your goals, your relationship with others, your self image, a bunch of different parts of super important things for ourselves. Love that book. We read it every Monday, like as a team, Monday morning, kind of just to get the week rolling. That
Nice.
that book's been great. Another just classic business book is Think and Grow Rich. Have you read that one?
Yeah, I have. I've the audio version. Yeah.
Okay, good book. Um, for managers, The 1 Minute Manager was a really
Uh-huh.
good one. I don't know if you've ever read that one.
No, I've seen it before.
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, shoot, there's another book I can't remember the name. That was another managerial book. Uh, what else? Um, I'm blanking.
No,
What about you?
The Zig Ziglar, yeah, he's a legend, but I never really um read any of his content, but I keep on hearing, he's kind of the godfather,
Yeah, for sure.
of sales
You-
and self-development. So I gotta
I,
check that one out.
I just remembered another one. I remember seeing you like read it with your team. I think the 10x rule by Grant
Thanks for
Cardone.
yeah. Hmm.
Good book. That just honestly, that is like about the activity levels and just keeping activity high. And it just that's what this business is about for sure too. That's a good book
Yeah, I love that book. Yeah,
for sure.
that's the one I read with my team.
You still do, Dan, or do you switch it up?
Yeah, I do because if I have like newer ones, then they haven't been through that process yet,
Right.
So that's like kind of like my new employee group that I read it with.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then do
Eh,
you do stuff with like the old employee group or no?
no, I should, but they're like, I don't want to go in a meeting. I'm busy selling. So,
Yeah. I mean, that
so,
makes sense. Dude, they're making money. They gotta, I mean,
so they're like, ah,
yeah.
meeting? Like, no, let me just stay on the phones. But I still should though. I think Atomic Habits is a book I read every year around
Hmm.
January, um, beginning or end of the year. So that's a book I'm kind of thinking maybe I should read with my team next for the
Yeah.
experienced ones.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the ones that like are really winning at a higher level, maybe like Relentless by Tim Grover.
Okay.
So that one's a little bit more hardcore as far as like taking it to a whole nother level as far as like, um, ambition.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
but maybe like my top producers, I want to read that with them. So I have some plans, but we do training and then, so it's kind of harder to get the top agents off the
Pulled away
phones
for
because
sure. Hey, that's a good thing. I mean, it's a good kind of problem, right? That
yeah.
they don't want to, they can't really. Another good one, Dan, is I don't know if you've read this one by Grant Cardone. It's the Closer Survival Guide. Have you ever read that?
No, that's one of his earlier ones, right?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I listened to the audiobook. He goes through like a series of just like 35 or like 100 different closes, different ways to close a deal.
Mm.
That would be a fantastic one for your top people because it'll show you how to like go with the spouse objection. It'll just go through all the different objections, like oh, like you know, like bumping them up a package, trying to sell them up a package instead of trying to like save them money. It's just there's so many different ways to look at it. He's kind of intense though. Like he'll even go into like the beg. Like he'll literally like, I'm begging you to buy this right now. Like let's get this going. It's like I would never say that, but um, yeah, there's some good ones in there.
But it's in his arsenal, you know, if he has to go there.
Dude, he
So,
will. He'll do
yeah,
it. Like he's crazy, man. That guy'll do it.
yeah.
So
It's good. Yeah, there's so many different strategies. I've heard about that one. Um, do you do a lot of sales right now?
yeah, yeah, I'm still pretty much very, very active. I think right as of right now, my role really requires me to still be very active.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
Are you the top
um
agent?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for sure, for sure. So the goal is to not be. That's my goal.
Yeah, but you still need to know what you're doing, you know?
For sure, for sure.
So mastering that part of the agencies, which is you could argue is the most important thing, that
Mhm.
totally makes sense. So once you're the master of it, then you could teach that side of it. But selling is fun, right?
Totally, totally. Like it's almost interesting as because I wouldn't say I'm at 100% as I used to be. I'm like definitely pulling back because I'm doing other stuff and training and doing all the other stuff. So it's like maybe like 75%.
Hmm.
But it seems interesting to me like you get super good at it and then you have to go and you have to train and almost take yourself out of it. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird, but yeah, that's part of the role, I guess, So
Do you struggle with letting it go a little bit, or
I wouldn't say so. Like I
okay?
would love to give it all away, but
Oh, okay.
at this point I eventually I will for sure. And I don't have
Mhm.
a problem with it. I think I have I'm pretty comfortable with letting stuff go.
Oh, good.
I just know it's efficient and that's the way anything will grow. So um the main thing is like the training and like getting people up to speed, kind of how you said like they got better and that's why you guys really blew up is I think there's like a time where it's like okay, now they're experts and like maybe that's when time to ramp up the leads and doing all that stuff. But um yeah, yeah. How about
Yeah.
you, Dan? Did you feel weird letting it go or no?
Um, I almost don't remember.
Yeah.
But I do know some agents struggle with that, you know, because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm better. Sometimes it's an ego thing too. Like I'm better than, them at sales. So it's like, oh, they're gonna burn this lead that, I got.
Mhm.
So it is a precious lead and it is. So it's like, oh, I don't wanna, you know, not have it sold.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the way I look at it is like, well, and this isn't even true for me, but if I'm, if my sales ability was like a score of 100, and
Mhm.
then if your producers are at 75, and even if there was lower, they got to 25 and they had to work their way up to 75, you eventually still want to have like three or four people at 75 than one person at 100,
Totally.
you
I
know.
would agree. Yeah.
So I think that's just something to that you already you'll come at that crossroads, but that's
Mhm.
already good that you're already like foresee that, because I think some agents get stuck in the I'm gonna sell forever mode, and I
Yeah.
think that's still, nothing wrong with that at all, but depending on how big you want your agency to be, then giving that responsibility away is
Right.
something that I see agents responding in different ways.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a little tricky for me right now just cuz like my main sales are kind of the bigger like commercial stuff.
Right.
So like those are a little bit harder to kind of hand off like if it's like
Hmm.
a six-figure deal or something like that. So I feel like
Oh,
those
wow.
ones no matter what I still have to work those
Hmm.
without a doubt. Um but little by little, I definitely
Yeah.
agree with you, man. I think that's the way to go.
And even still, I think even way down the line, you still may want to work on those high,
Yeah,
premium ones yourself. I think that's definitely well worth your time.
totally. I would agree. I like those. Those
Yeah,
are nice ones.
yeah, that's the cool thing about commercial policies. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, man. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be there at that level soon, Dan.
yeah, like you say, right? Like the book says, see you at the top, right?
Yeah, man. I'll see you
Y-
there. I'll see you there
Yeah.
soon.
No, Chris, this has been awesome, man. I think it's just
Yeah.
refreshing to see somebody um doing as well as you are, in the space that you are, so competitive. and hiring and growing your book of business and just being so consistent on social media too. I think it's just someone like I've just witnessed doing better and better. So you believe in the
Thank
same
you.
things I do, so it's just great to keep in touch and
For
see each
sure.
other's progress. So yeah, I
Thank you,
just
man.
want to thank you for being on the show. I think yeah, you shared a lot of good stuff. You helped me talk
Yeah,
about
for
some of my
sure.
thoughts too, so that was kind of cool that we went back and forth. But yeah, I just
Totally.
appreciate um their relationship, and
Yeah.
looking forward to helping each other out and seeing what you do next, because nothing but bright days ahead of you, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it, man. God bless. And I hope all, continues to grow. You guys get to 20, 30 million at your agency. So I appreciate your mentorship and thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that, Chris. You too.
for sure.
All right,
Thanks, man.
I'll
All
see ya.
right. All right. See ya. Have a good one.
You too.